Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another SHOUTCraft Clan War right here on MLG TV. My name is TotalBiscuit. I apologize for the delay. We have actually had a forfeit on the first match. We had a no-show in the form of Blisk for Clan Who. As a result, we waited 15 minutes, gave him a chance to get online. He did not. So we have given a walkover to MVP. So they actually start with an advantage up 1-0. And these guys don't want to hang around. They've already been hanging around enough as it is. So we're going to get right into the next match, which is going to be on New Polaris Rhapsody. MVP Super versus Exile5's NXZ. So we're going to get right into a little bit of PvZ action pretty much immediately. As I said, we have waited long enough, frankly. It's unfortunate, you know, we are talking about coordinating teams and players from all manner of different continents. Sometimes real life gets in the way, and that sucks. And obviously his team is penalized for that, but outside of that, we're pretty much ready to keep going. And of course, that gives MVP just a nice little lead and puts the guys from Clan Who in a pretty awkward spot. Alright, well, let's see if NXZ is enough to fix this problem. We're about to find out. Here we go, folks. We're going right into a New Polaris Rhapsody. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to New Polaris Rhapsody. It's my pleasure to bring you from Team Exile5. In the pink trunks playing to the northwest, representing Clan Who and the Australians, it's NXZ. Versus his opponent to the southeast position. In the blue trunks, playing Protoss, MVP Super. You know, I've got to figure out what Lotum actually means. I'm going to have to ask. Obviously, that's motel backwards. But a lot of the MVP guys wear this. Like, it almost seems like it may be a sponsorship deal, but it's not registered on their sponsorship page on Liquipedia. So I'm going to have to ask Swagger what's going on. Swagger, if you don't already know, is MVP's captain. I have an unfortunate story about Swagger, outside of the fact that he's called Swagger. He used to be called Killer, and of course he was on Complexity for a while, and eventually he made his way over to MVP. And I met him at Gamescom 2011, and there was a Team Liquid meetup. It was in this, frankly, pretty dire Mexican restaurant. It wasn't very good. I'm sorry. I mean, even the margaritas weren't exactly incredible. Decent sangria. I'll give them all credit for that. But outside of that, not too much. And that was the one time, you know, after meeting him and saying hi, you know, there was a bunch of other Koreans there as well who were all really cool. I had an allergic reaction to something and my face blew up like a balloon. It was terrible. And for some inexplicable reason, Curse had their photographer there. This is when Curse were actually still vaguely involved. And of course, you know, SK and everything like that were involved in Starcraft 2. And they took a photo of it. And it's been immortalized on the internet to this very day. And the only time that Killer has ever met me was when my face was blown up like a balloon. I looked like some kind of mutant. Such is the way of things. Never mind. I suppose things like that happen. Alright, let's see what's going on. So Super has opened up with the gateway into the cyber core and the gas there, whereas we actually have 3 hatch before pool for NXZ, which is greedy as hell and ridiculously risky. Wow. Well, here's hoping he's right. He kind of isn't. That's the problem. Super actually does have a Zealot. Doesn't make that much difference. I don't think Super is going to... I don't know, he might go across the map with it. It doesn't seem like he would, though. So this is a bit of a calculated risk here from NXZ. It's a big one, but it looks like this is going to pay off for him by the looks of it. But the immediate problem with something like this is that your spawning pool is ridiculously delayed. Your speed is ridiculously delayed. Your queens are ridiculously delayed. So even when the spawning pool comes up, you're still going to wait about a minute for the first queens to pop out. So if Super did actually push across the map with, say, a Zealot Stalker Mothership Core rush, it would probably do severe damage to NXZ's economy. There's no doubt about that. It's unlikely that NXZ would be able to get enough units out to defend against it. But he didn't. You know, it's simple as that. Super did not build a Stalker. He went straight into the Nexus, and he kept his Zealot right here. And he's indeed even walling off, which is really interesting. A second gateway instead. Oh, there's the Stargate. I was going to say, Stargate is a great build for this map, and you might want to consider it, considering the lava, of course, gets in the way. But, yep, it's going to be Stargate. Well, NXZ's little gamble, for the most part, seems to have actually paid off at the moment. But still, there are greater implications to doing what NXZ is doing. He can get a powerhouse economy, and he can get a lot of lava, a lot of queens out, really start to spread creep and surge units. But he is left behind in tech. I mean, he doesn't have any gas yet, for instance. So what happens if a Stargate comes out? Well, unless there are spore crawlers down, which I probably would do in this situation, because you can't blindly say, oh, well. In fact, I mean, he already knows there's a Stargate coming, because this Overlord actually did scout it. So, assuming he clicked it, he should know. It's going to be a Phoenix opening here from Super, which is going to be nice, because that's going to pick off that Overlord and probably find this one as well. There is a risk, of course, to not having a huge amount of anti-air, but thankfully NXZ has realized, and now he's decided, you know what, we're going to put spores down. So I think, you know what, he's got away with it. If this was some kind of fast gateway pressure, which in theory it could have been, because we did have a fairly quick set of gateways come down here from Super, and he may elect to still apply gateway pressure, then I think NXZ would have been in a lot of trouble. He could still be, because he doesn't have many units. He still hasn't started speed, because he has no gas. I mean, gasless before 60 supply is a ridiculously rare build, and this might be... I think maybe NXZ may have overdone it. He might have got a little bit too greedy. You know, 3 hatch before pool's greedy enough. Not getting gas before 60 supply, ludicrously greedy. There's a lot of lings out on the way here, but there is a Zealot attack coming across. Let's see how many lings there are. Is there a spine crawl at the third? There isn't. There are 3 queens, though. So, well, down goes the time warp. Only kills a single ling, and NXZ decides, you know what, I'm going to run in there again because it feels tingly. NXZ is now being camped, contained on his third base here. A large contingent of Zealots heading across the map. Roach Warren is coming up now, but it might be a little bit too late. There's no spine crawler down at the third. There's the lift on one of the queens. The lings coming in to fight right now, and these are +0 Zealots, so they do take 3 swings to kill the lings instead of 2, and that might just be enough for NXZ to push this back, and it looks like it is. The lift comes out, however, and they're going to keep working on those queens. They want them dead, and I think NXZ has now got away with it. He is going to lose a couple of queens. That's going to happen, and he might lose some drones here as well. Admittedly, there is a spore crawler to kind of wall that off, but he got away with it. And this build from Super did not do the job. And Super is certainly behind economically now. And NXZ has opportunities, but he decides he wants to pressure, which I don't know if I agree with that. Pressuring with slow lings against this wall-off. Very risky. Very risky. There are currently Phoenixes in the main base that are trying to pick off units. They haven't killed too many workers so far. He's going to get a couple more, and NXZ is now deciding, oh yeah, I'm going to move back now. This is not a way to go. There's a sentry there. There's a mothership core there. Evolution chamber's on the way up. A couple more workers being picked off. I mean, on 3-base economy, 5 workers is not that bad. That's not really too much to worry about, although Super's decided, you know what, I'm just going to go for the Overlords. I'm going to go fight. The spore crawler was there, but 1 spore crawler will not quite be enough, I don't think, and Super should be able to micro away from that. Kills another Overlord, so that's a nice pick off there. NXZ's economy kind of being stifled a little bit by this harass. I don't think the harass is quite enough, though. Speed is now finally on the way. Up comes the Lava Surge, which is not going to kill anything. There's a couple of roaches on the way out as well. And NXZ is getting up to about 60 drones. He is losing queens, though, so this is slowing him down immensely. As much as the Zealot push failed, the Phoenixes haven't. So things are absolutely fine. There's the units lost tab, as you can see. Not too much to worry about. Alright, roaches are now up. There's a Colossus Den on the way up here for Super, so that's finished. He's going immediately into Colossus on 2 bases, and this is a very Super build. He has done this before. Gets a couple of Colossus and just kind of goes. But a lot of Roach Hydras on the way. Super is getting little pickups here and there. He's actually picking off roaches, which seems inefficient, but anything that can shrink NXZ's economy is a good thing right here. A 3rd base has now been taken here for Super, so he's not going 2-base all in on those Colossus. So this may be a bit of a longer game than we anticipated. Roaches and Hydras now on the way. Only a couple of Hydras. That's risky. And I'm surprised that NXZ allowed that to happen. He has just thrown away 2 Hydralisks, basically, because Super will be able to lift up the other once he's got the energy and kill it almost immediately. Surprisingly enough, most people don't know this, but Phoenixes are a pretty good counter to Hydras as long as the Hydras are in small enough numbers. Looking for a cancellation right here. Will NXZ be able to get it? There's a lot of lings, a lot of pressure coming in. Will there be enough? Oh no! NXZ, you don't want to lose that many. He wants to try and get out as quickly as he can. Does the run by, but the force fields from Super are superb. and he traps most of those Lings in. The Lings go for the Colossus. They're not going to get anything done. The Roaches come in as well, and NXZ, after a great economic start, is now throwing away units left and right, and Super's control just looking too good here. Way too good. Great force fields, excellent secure of the third, fourth base now come down here for NXZ. Economic damage done, 9 workers killed, but if you look at the other stuff, quite a lot of other things killed as well. You know, high-value units like Hydralisks picked off. Those Lings basically killed for next to nothing. That's the units lost. Look at how ridiculous that is. Super has only lost 8 units this entire game. 4,000 resources versus 800. Super's efficiency is absolutely ludicrous. And it's looking like it might very well be enough to overcome the economy of NXZ, who is looking for that fourth base. Is going to lose yet another drone. There are, however, enough Hydras to be able to kill these Phoenixes if NXZ decides to engage too much here. But he's careful, and he's hopping across this area right here. There's no creep covering this area, so... And he actually doesn't have speed yet. He's going for Ventral Sacks. Looking for maybe a Roach Hydra drop, which would be a very interesting way to go. Of course, with 6 Phoenixes on the field, you don't really want to drop most of the time. So this is a really interesting move by NXZ. For the moment, though, Super playing very passive, just harassing with these Phoenixes, hasn't lost any of them yet, has done a decent amount of damage, but certainly not crippling economic damage as of yet. 68 drones up here for NXZ, who is building this powerful Roach Hydra army, and does have the double upgrades. Actually, no, he does not. He has only a single upgrade there. Upgrades are, however, on the way for Super, who is on +1, so +2 is well on its way to finishing here. What on earth is NXZ planning to do? I mean, he's got to be planning a drop, otherwise you don't just get... Ventral Sacks is too expensive to just get on a whim, right? You've got to have a plan with it. So... with these Phoenixes around, I just don't see how he can actually attack. The only way he's going to be able to do it is if he's actually able to kill the Phoenixes, which is not likely right now. NXZ is moving across the map. The only other thing he could do is try and drop if he knows the Phoenixes are somewhere else. He's going to go for it. He's going to go for a massive Roach Hydralisk drop. But he's going up against Blinkstalkers, a heavy Colossus presence of 5, and +2.
Alert.
It could work?
Evacuate local
Oh, man. Well, he's got to pick up pretty fast. He's got to get into those Overlords immediately, because otherwise he's going to be in a lot of trouble. No, 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 no! No, no, no! He needs to get the Overlords! Quickly, 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 quickly! The lava! And he's up! And leaves... Oh, thank God. He got to the side just in time. And a reinforcing Roach gets obliterated by the lava here, but this is an interesting move. He's going right into the main base with a huge Roach Hydralisk drop, which has now been seen here by Super. Here comes the drop right into the base. This is going to be interesting. He's holding Super's own choke against him, but does he have the units for this? I mean, he's got a little Vanguard at the front that just got obliterated very quickly here, and NXZ has made his way into the base and is doing damage, but really there's no escape from this, as far as I can tell. This seems like a huge dedication. He's going to try and take out the main Nexus, but it's almost mined out, so this army's now going to die entirely, and the attack is coming in on the third base. Trying to deal with that. There's a few Roaches here, so he should be able to do a decent amount of damage. These Overlords are going to get picked off on the way back here. NXZ didn't really achieve a huge amount with this. He is working on the third, but it is going to get cleaned up. Some resources lost here, but way, way more for NXZ, and that was not an attack that really did anything, unfortunately. I'm not really sure what the plan of NXZ was. I think dropping on top of the army would have made more sense, considering it's very Stalker-heavy, not hugely Zealot-heavy, but even then, I don't know. That was a weird one. That didn't really do much. Super has now warped in. Well, at least he's going to. He's warping in a couple of Zealots right into the main base here. And the counterattack is on its way. And NXZ is behind in every possible respect. Upgrades, tech, everything. There are still 5 Colossus. If you'd been able to Roach drop on top of the Colossus and kill them, that might have been a different story. If it was just a gateway force, then yeah, NXZ could afford it. But in this case, probably not. And I think Super is going to be burying NXZ pretty quickly here, without too much of a problem. One of the Colossus goes down, a second one will die as the Roaches do come around the side. A third one as well. Nicely picked off there by NXZ, but I think it is too little too late. A fourth base has now been identified, but this warp-in of Zealots is obliterating the main base. And NXZ GG's, and another win here for MVP as they go ahead 2-0 after the forfeit that we mentioned earlier. NXZ I'm not really sure what happened there, honestly. I think NXZ could have probably fended off the harass a little better. He could have maybe dropped another Spore Crawler. He certainly had the drone capability for it. Why not drop an extra Spore Crawler instead of losing more Queens, instead of losing more drones? His economy was really good at the start, but then he commits to these 2 attacks which don't get anything done. A huge Ling run by, which is shut down and completely destroyed, and then a Roach Hydralisk drop, which achieves nothing but destroying the main Nexus in an already mined-out main base. It's a bit strange. Oh well, never mind. Such is the way of things, and NXZ will fall here in this match against MVP. And with the earlier forfeit, that leaves us with a 2-0 lead for MVP. The next game, this is the first time we've seen him out here in the Clan Wars. The mighty Moonglade will be representing against MVP Sniper, the villain himself. It's going to be on Wrecking Ball. We'll be right back after this break, folks. Thank you very much for your patience tonight, and we'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our Clan Wars match between Clan Who and MVP. MVP leading 2 games to 0 after an unfortunate forfeit on map 1, and then map 2 going fairly swiftly to Super after an ill-conceived Roach Hydra drop from NXZ. And now we have a bit of a interesting matchup, actually. MVP Sniper, not someone that really comes out in the Clan Wars all that much, versus Moonglade, also not someone that comes out in the Clan Wars all that much either. A ZVZ between 2 very, very potent players. And it looks like these guys are about ready to go. Hopefully you guys are as well. We'll be digging into this one very soon. Alright, yep, they're ready to go, and countdown has now begun. I am being told, by the way, that Lotum is simply an online clan, so it's an unofficial clan, and quite a few of the Korean players are actually members of unofficial clans as well as official teams, so that is what Lotum is, for those of you wondering. It is not, in fact, some kind of weird sponsor that I missed. Alright, next map's going to be on Wrecking Ball, also known as, for some reason, GH Testing Ziggity. I'm not sure what happened on the Korean server, but for some reason, the map got renamed and we can't fix it. Don't know why, but if you're looking for it on the Korean server at any point, maybe you want to play with a friend for some reason, and you want to feel like you're more Gosu, then you want to be looking for GH Testing Ziggity. Okay, here we go, folks. Let us begin. Welcome to Wrecking Ball, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you, representing Clan Who, and of course, one of the newest commentators for Pro League, eventually, once he's able to get everything sorted out, and of course, from Team NV, he is Moonglade. Versus his opponent to the south position. Known for the longest time, especially at the end of Wings of Liberty, as the villain. In the pink trunks playing Zerg, he is MVP Sniper. One of perhaps the most unexpected GSL champions we had has never been able to reclaim his former glory. Ever, actually. He is used in Pro League every now and again, but he really dropped off the map, which was kind of a surprise. Most GSL champions do not drop off the map, but I do remember when Sniper won, actually. It's a day that shall live in infamy, of course, because he beat one of my players to do it. He beat Ryung in the round of 4 of GSL. It was the last GSL before the end of Wings of Liberty. It was when the Brood Lord Infester period was at its height. Basically, Zergs in the mid to late game were unbeatable by Terran. I watched at IPL 5, Terran struggled to do so. Even Terran like Pult tried their absolute hardest to do it, and they just could not. They just could not break the Broodlord Infester. There was no way to do it. And eventually, of course, it was all fixed, it was all nerfed, and there were no problems whatsoever. But, I say, Sniper was the man who won at the height of the Broodlord Infester era. And was then, kind of, weirdly enough, never seen again in high-level competitive play in the round of 4 of pretty much anything. So there you go. Moonglade, on the other hand, has had a fairly storied career. A pretty damn successful foreigner. Certainly the most successful Australian player. Has been able to play at a high level for a very long time. He had high placements in WCS last year. Played very well indeed. And has now moved to Korea in order to commentate the Casper Pro League, which will hopefully be happening fairly shortly. I believe he's sorting a few things out in order to make that happen, but that's kind of his next protocol, and he is representing the Aussies in this clan war as well. Alright, ZVZ. We're going to see a gas coming out of Moonglade first. Both these guys playing chicken as to who goes gas first on this particular map. ZVZ on this map can be a little bit risky. You've got to watch out where you put your overlords, because there is the very real possibility that they will die. They will be shot down in a blaze of glory. Also, we have 2 different styles of overlord here. Moonglade with the fancy one, with the spinners and the neon lights and the bumper sticker that says no fear on it, whereas Sniper going with the more traditional pink blobby overlord, which, as far as I'm concerned, is coming back into fashion at this point. I never noticed there is actually a Hydralisk hidden in that water tower. That's a pretty cool little addition here. There's some nice little pieces of detail out on all of these custom maps, as far as I'm concerned. I think there's a lurker in there. Looks like there might be. And for some reason, there's a palm tree. No, it's not a palm tree. What am I talking about? Not on any planet in this universe is that a palm tree, you idiot. Alright, outside of that, we have just very slight drone lead there for Sniper, but it doesn't matter. It's all going to be pretty much evened out as drones come out for both players here. Who's going to get aggressive first, if anybody? We're still looking at 2 bases. Spinecrawler is coming down from Sniper, so Sniper, who is also adding on 2 more queens and still hasn't taken gas, is going to be the one who wants to be defensive. No doubt about that. Can't be aggressive if you have no speed. Gets both lings out of there for his trouble, so nicely played there. Can't be aggressive if you have no speed. Can't be aggressive if you have no banelings. So, let's see if Moonglade decides to be aggressive after seeing what's going on there. He saw the spine at the front. He saw the double queens. He may not have seen the gas go down. I don't think he did. We will double check. He will be able to confirm with an overlord. No, he did not see that. But a spine at the front generally indicates, yeah, I don't really plan on attacking. Because, frankly, that drone and those extra minerals could have been spent elsewhere. And we're going to have a similar situation here with Sniper, but he's actually going to get into the base because there was only 1 queen to fend that off. And that will eventually die, but it's going to get full scouting information. It's going to see that the pool is still researching speed, so Sniper is probably feeling pretty comfortable right now, and it's going to start the wall off. And he's going to go straight for lair as well. Another gas is coming down. Let's see if he goes all the way up to 4. Will we see the Mutalisk Wars? It's become a little less common lately. I think it's just because Zerg players have realized that the Spore Crawler in this matchup actually might as well be an ion cannon. It hits like an absolute truck. As it stands, Sniper is only going for 3 gas. Will he take a 4th? Probably not. So we're most likely going to see maybe Speed Roach play out of this. Might see some Hydras in there quite early. Roach Infest are also a possibility. We'll see if he decides to go Spire. On 3 gas, you generally don't. So yes, it will be the Roach Warren, I think, by the looks of it. Nice for both players there. Moonglade has not completed his lair. In fact, he has only just started it. There we go. Building the Roach Warren up, and Roaches are on the way here for Sniper. So we will see a more traditional game, certainly, between these two. Currently, not much lost on either side. Just a single Overlord picked off, and a couple of Lings to boot. So things fairly equal. The 3rd base has not actually been started here for Sniper. That's a little suspicious, and there's a lot of units coming out here as well. So I have a feeling Sniper might want to go for an overwhelming Roach push on 2 bases. Is that possible? I mean, maybe. But it's also possible that Moonglade is able to outproduce him, especially with the defender's advantage. So, I don't know. We'll see how well this works. He is going to have that speed lead. A significant speed lead. Speed is going to be halfway done by the time the lair is even finished here for Moonglade. So there is going to be an opportunity, I feel, for a big Roach push. Sniper already has 13. He's building another 6. He probably wants to time it with +1, which does also have maybe a 30-second lead on Moonglade, which is not that significant. But I'm thinking that's exactly what Sniper's going to do. He's been denying scouting. He's basically walled off and said, you can't get into my base. You can't see what I'm doing. And he's going to have speed, and when he does, he's going to push out, and that's going to leave Moonglade in a position where he has to defend. That said, Speed Roach versus non-Speed Roach, maybe not that important when you're the one who is defending. Whoa, Sniper! Careful, careful. He has almost lost an Overlord there to the neutral turrets. Moonglade is able to see the queens moving out, and he didn't... Oh, he will, in fact, see all of the roaches, so he's going to go into full defense mode now. And they have, of course, speed roaches versus non-speed roaches. Moonglade is going to produce as much as he can. He's not even going to start spine crawlers. Currently, the roach count is 28-17, so going to get a good fight. That's going to be a good start there for Moonglade. He picks off 1 or 2 roaches, and is now going to try and back off. He now has 3 bases, but bear in mind that some of the roaches are going to come from this side and could be very easily killed. All right. Well, let's see what comes out of this. Moonglade is looking to try and get the arc here. Can he make that happen? I have a feeling he has slightly too few, but defender's advantage is a big deal. Moonglade almost losing one of his overlords there as well. Sniper jumps right on top of that. Drone's now being pulled off the line here as the roaches are severely outnumbered. It's 22-12. Sniper continues to push in. The drone's trying to fight as best they can. Moonglade brings in reinforcements from his 3rd base here. Moonglade doesn't even have the superior economy anymore. He has lost a lot of drones. He is trying desperately to push this back, but it looks like Sniper's 2-base timing may very well catch Moonglade completely off guard. He's going to lose all of his roaches, and this is looking pretty grim here for Clan Who. There is the transfuse just to put the nail in the coffin. That's the GG, and Sniper eliminates Moonglade without really breaking a sweat. This is not where you want to be as Clan Who against MVP. I mean, going down one already is obviously a bad thing, but losing 2 more, this is going to be a hard comeback. Really hard comeback here for the Aussies. Oh, man. Who have they got up next? Who will be the last man standing, potentially, for the Australians? Will this be the shortest clan war in history? It's possible. It is entirely possible. Oh, man. So who's coming up next? It's going to be Pig versus Dong-Rei-Gu. Oh, my God. As if it couldn't get any worse. Moonglade versus Sniper was a tough match. Pig versus Dong-Rei-Gu on New Pompeii? Jeez. The King of Lings himself. The final boss. And it's only Pig who stands in the way of a complete obliteration here, Clan Who. Can he pull it back? We'll find out after the break. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SHOUTCraft Clan Wars, and what could be the fastest defeat in the tournament's history right here, as we go into what could be the final match of the day. After a forfeit and walkover from Blisk in Game 1 of this series, MVP rather rapidly dismantled what was left of Clan Who, and now only Pig stands tall against Dong-Rei-Gu in a Zerg versus Zerg on the Ling map. New Pompeii. This is the only way that Clan Who can continue in this series. Pig has got to win it, and then they've got to win every other game, including the 2v2, just to get to the ace match, and then God knows what will be vomited forth from the bowels, the lair of MVP itself, in order to defeat them then. So, to say that the fellows over at Clan Who have a tough road ahead of them would be an understatement. They're up against the final boss. In the blue trunks, playing Zerg. To the west, he's Dong-Rei-Gu versus his opponent. To the northeast position, in the light blue, from Team XL5. He is the man with the plan. He is the only one standing. He is Pig. Piggy's pretty good, as we have seen in the past. He's put on some excellent showings thus far in the Clan War. He is definitely on the rise. Great guy. Excellent commentator as well. Very creative. But this is Dong-Rei-Gu. And Dong-Rei-Gu is a very scary individual. Dong-Rei-Gu is not to be messed with. This is the guy whose APM generally spikes to 500, 600 during fights. His control is exceptional. And he's going... Is he? Yeah, that is gas first. That is no extractor trick. That is gas first. Dong-Rei-Gu wants to end this quickly by the looks of it. Very early speed. And this is the map for it as well. This is New Pompeii. This is a map where ZVZ rarely gets past the Ling-Baneling stage because the way that the map is set up is it's got 5 spawns and everything is rotational. And it's symmetrical as well. You also have 2 ramps, meaning that Ling-Baneling attacks are super effective. Especially against Zerg players who, of course, can't really wall off on both sides. So it does become a Ling-Baneling war. Alright. So Pool is up slightly later for Pig. Dong-Rei-Gu managed to get his up slightly earlier, and managed to get his gas up slightly earlier. Everything he's got is a little bit ahead. Does it make that much of a difference? Not necessarily. If Pig identifies what's going on and defends properly, he should be fine. Will either player actually expand? It's entirely possible that they won't. This is a map in ZVZ where we have seen one base play be king. So, this could happen. Pool's up. Gas is not done as of yet for Pig. He needs 100 to go into speed, so that's going to be about a 20-second lead time here for Dong-Rei-Gu. There we go. More like 18 in-game seconds. Will that be significant? It can be. Dong-Rei-Gu already has Lings on the way. Pig is adding a queen. Dong-Rei-Gu has no queen. Just understand this. He has no queen. Now he's building one. He already goes up to 6 Lings immediately and then builds his queen. He will need that eventually, of course, if he wants to hold on to his aggression. Baneling Nest comes down for Pig first. I think Pig absolutely understands what's going on here. But, of course, the Bane Nest down for Dong-Rei-Gu too. So, DRG will be the one to apply the pressure. He knows where his opponent is, or at least he does now. And there are enough Lings to fend this off, along with the Queen. So, right now, Pig doesn't have too much to worry about, unless he is caught off by the disparity between the metabolic boost timings. Pig is going to be slower than Dong-Rei-Gu for 15 seconds. It could be a factor. DRG has been known to pull off such nonsense. Pig, it looks like Pig's found him, but he doesn't want to do that, actually. This is a terrible idea, because Speed is about to finish in 10 seconds. Dongregoo knows that, and if Dongregoo can go into the base, then maybe, just maybe, he picks off some Lings here. But it looks like Pig is going to be able to pull back to safety. Now the Speed is done. He's looking for the Queen Surround immediately. Pig looking for the reinforcements and trying to fend that off. He's going to be able to do it. 5 seconds until Metabolic Boost is done here for Pig, and it is going to happen. 6 Banelings being morphed in. 7 Banelings here for Dongregoo. He's not using this map to the fullest possible potential. Oh, yes, he is. He's got a hidden Baneling over to the side. Personally, I would have sent 2. Pig's looking for it. He is going to find it. He's found it. He's missed it. Good lord. He's focused on this instead. In the meantime, Lings come in through the side, and Pig trying to do some damage to the economy of Dongregoo. But here we go. There's the Baneling coming in from the side, looking for the connections. Will it get it? It goes right into the center of the drone line. Lots of damage being done so far. 13-7. Dongregoo, on the other hand, has taken way, way more damage, if you can actually believe it. The Ling run by Pig actually killed 7 workers. Dongregoo is, strangely enough, in a lot of trouble. He may not be able to keep up with Pig's production here. This could be a very early GG. We'll have to go back through the replay and see how that happened. We're focusing on the fight here, but in the meantime, Pig was able to run around the other side and actually attack with Lings, doing pretty critical economic damage. 12 drones to 8. We're playing a very low economy game here. There are Banelings out on the map here for Pig. There are no Banelings out on the map for Dongregoo. He's gonna need some, though. And now it's Pig's turn to attack. No Spine Crawler. Another Ling run by comes in, trying to do some more damage to the drone line. Doesn't pick off another one as of yet, however. That's what the unit's loss looks like here. 3 Banelings lost apiece. Very, very even otherwise on the Lings, but it's those drones that make the difference. And it's put Pig in a significant lead. Can Dongregoo get their Baneling hit of God? Looks like he can't. The Lings coming in from the side. The remaining Banelings trying to reinforce. Going right to the center. No good detonations right as of yet, but I don't think it really matters. He did kill the lava, which could actually be a big factor here, strangely enough. It does prevent the reinforcements. Only 3 drones left, and GG! Pig does it. He is back. And he has put who back on the board. We have got to watch that again. Let's do a quick action replay of that and find out just how much damage was really done. It's ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous amounts of damage done by a simple run-by. There was an attempted setup by DRG on the side. It didn't do the job, though. Alright, we're gonna have a look at it. So we're just gonna +8 through this. And we'll find out when exactly this happened and how much damage it did. But it was a great setup. It looked to me like Pig... I mean, they both understood the map. There was that Baneling off to the side there that almost got killed, but that's it. Here it is. This is the heroic Ling run-by that made this happen. We'll just have a quick look through here and unpause. There we go. So they come around the side. He sets them up. Does he actually make a Baneling here? He might have. I may have missed that as well. Alright, Pig making his move in. No, he just goes in with the Lings and actually does massive damage. DRG takes huge amounts of damage just from 4 Lings. Incredible, really. And that's what did it. I mean, he kills what? Yeah, another drone. That's incredible. 7 workers, and that was it. I mean, that's all that was needed. The difference there, look at that. 6 drones to 14. And DRG was not able to deliver the crippling blow. Okay, folks, it looks like we're going to have to actually do a swap over. So I'm going to go talk to Clan Who and see if they're okay with that. We will be right back after this break. Do not go anywhere. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So, some weirdness has been happening. So here's what's happening. I need to explain, because this is slightly confusing. So, it turns out, as you probably noticed on the stream while we're doing the replay here, that Keen is not available. Now, under the rules, you cannot substitute players without the agreement of the other team. Now, the other team has agreed on the proviso that Billowy be allowed to play his match. So, the 2 teams basically came to an understanding where the forfeit is now clear, and we will now play Billowy versus Blisk, after which we will then play the 2v2. So, it was very generous of MVP to allow that. Admittedly, had it gone the other way, the other player could have accepted, the other team could have accepted a forfeit. So MVP could have actually had to forfeit the 2v2 because they were unable to put their lineup up there. So you can see the dilemma, right? So what we'd rather do is make sure that all the games are played out, and the teams have come to an understanding as regards to that. So this is what we now have, Blisk versus Billowy, and we're going to kick it off here. The countdown has now begun. It's going to be a PvP between Clan Who's Blisk, who's currently teamless, the Singaporean Protoss player, versus MVP Billowy, who has been on an absolute tear in Pro League lately. So let's see what can happen. Yep, this is really confusing, because of course that has now reduced the scoreline of MVP by 1, so it's actually now a 2-1 series. If Billowy wins, then it puts it back to the 3-1 position we were in previously, and then we go to the 2v2, where we swap Keen out for Alive, and then my head explodes. Not necessarily in that order. Okay, here we go. Let's make this happen, and I'm dearly hoping for a good match. I've been informed that Blisk is going to use an interesting build. I certainly hope that's the case. We've seen a couple of PvP on Neo Jungle Valley, and they've been weird, to say the least, actually. Very, very weird. Let's see how they turn out. Alright, folks, here we go. Welcome to Neo Jungle Valley, and to the southwest position in the green trunks, playing Protoss for Clan Who, it is Blisk, with the styling green barcode, versus his opponent to the southeast position, yes. Forgotten how to do directions now. It's all just slowly falling apart here. From Team MVP, in the yellow, he is playing Protoss, and he is Billowy. Billowy, not someone that I think prior to his ridiculous performance in Pro League was particularly well known. Now he is. It was ludicrous. it was a ludicrous performance from Billowy in Pro League. So good. So we may have another star on our hands. We will see. And that has, as we said before, now reduced the scoreline to confuse the hell out of you even more to 2-1, because one of those games previously was a forfeit, and MVP has allowed Blisk to actually play and has rescinded the forfeit. What would have happened if they hadn't is that we probably would have entered a situation where Alive was not allowed to replace Keen in the 2v2, and it would have been another forfeit. So basically, it would almost be kind of an eye for an eye thing. It's a really awkward position in those kind of situations, because the last thing you want to do is to really put that decision on top of the team, because the team has two conflicting kind of ideologies at play. The first one is, I want to win. So any team that says I want to win is obviously going to take every possible opportunity for a forfeit that they can, right? And it makes perfect sense, and no team and no player should ever be criticized for taking a forfeit when they're allowed to take one under the rules. They absolutely should take it whenever they can. The other half of it is trying to be equitable. It's trying to be fair. It's trying to provide a good game for all the fans. So the other side says, oh, well, I should allow this to pass, and I shouldn't take the forfeit. I should allow the game to happen. So that's what teams are left in the position of having to do, and generally admins do have to make the call. In this situation, considering the rather unique circumstances, I decided to allow the teams to decide it amongst themselves, and they appear to have come to this conclusion here. So hopefully things do work out well. Now, Blisk has gone for a double assimilator build. We also see one from Billowy, although slightly later here. Both went for Nexus first, which makes absolute sense. Really, there's... I mean, there are... it would be a lie to say that there's no reason to go any other build other than Nexus first on this map. You can go for, like, a 1-base cheese. It is possible to go 1-base Blink on this map with a Mothership core. It's not brilliant, but it can be done. You can also go 1-base Stargate. That's also a possibility. I mean, hell, 1-base Double Phoenix actually might work pretty well on a map like this. But this is the situation we're now in, and we are seeing a Nexus first out of both. So we'll see pretty strong economies, and let's see where we go from here. I want to know what Blisk's build is, because he was the one who was saying to us, I really want to play, I've got this great build. Okay, well, let's see just how good that is, and let's see how much opportunity Billowy has had to prepare. Okay, gateway now going down for Billowy. It's a case of playing chicken here. Actually, no, it's not. That's the second gateway. Okay. Alright, interesting. That does maybe indicate Blink Stalker, but it might not. It could just be Stalkers for defense against a probable airplay. Bear in mind, this map is notorious for airplay. It's also notorious for Protoss players getting their Mothership core shot down. So, if you are the guy that doesn't go Stargate, and you send your Mothership core across the map, it's probably dead. So I hope Billowy realizes that and has seen previous games from, say, Liquid Hero, who lost that very same thing, and decides to keep his mothership core at home. Because the first thing out of that Stargate is probably a Phoenix. It could be an Oracle, but a Phoenix is... There you go. Why do you go Phoenix here? Because you want to kill the mothership core. Now, bear in mind, Billowy has no idea where his opponent is yet. There is no way to scout until you get the mothership core out or some kind of other rare unit. So, Billowy actually gets a bit lucky in that his mothership core is not going towards the enemy base. If it did, that mothership core would have died. It's simple as that. This happens all the time. And Blisk is taking a similar risk. He's saying, you know what? I don't think you've got a Stargate, so I'm going to go across the map with the mothership core, and I'm going to take that risk. So he will be safe. This mothership core for Billowy might not be. He may be forced to recall. He has, unfortunately, scouted in the wrong location here. There are stalkers out on the map. Billowy has 2, and is now going for an observer here as well, and a forge going down here for Billowy as well. And Blisk is just playing Phoenix right now. Mothership core is going to take a little bit of damage. It should not die at this point. Oh, actually, maybe it will. There is a sentry in there just to add that little bit of extra DPS. Billowy picks it off. Doesn't even need a Phoenix for that. Wow. I'm really surprised. I'm actually shocked that Blisk went across the map with that. That makes... It does make a certain degree of sense, because what Blisk is doing is he's hiding Phoenixes here. Yeah? And then he's going to transition into something. Robo and Twilight Council. What is his transition? It's, again, a little bit surprising that he went across the map there. It was risky. Now there are 4 Phoenixes that are heading across here. Billowy is almost prepared for it, but these sentries, I think, are going to die pretty fast. Yep, one down, and the second one down as well. So already, this is a nice little win here for Blisk. And he's going to be able to pick up a few more of these probes as well. The mothership core is on its way back across the map. The risk is that it runs into the Phoenixes and dies. Ideally, for Billowy, he gets back. He's going for a 3rd base. So greedy. So greedy and very quick, but it is a map for it. And what better counter to Phoenix? Immortal Chargelet. What? What is this build? Coming out here. Oh, Blisk is going to miss the mothership core. He wanted it. Oh, he finds it. But photon overcharge can certainly happen here. So he will... Yep, he's going to have to be driven off now. Oh, Billowy got a bit lucky there, and Blisk maybe a little bit unlucky as a result of that. This build, I don't really... What the hell is this? Okay, so this is Immortal Chargelet, which would be a pretty good anti-blink build, actually. And 7 gateways. 7-gate Immortal Chargelet, which would break down rocks pretty fast, too. This actually might be a really, really good, weird metagame. What? What is he... What? That's 10 gate? No. You can't go 10 gateways. What are you going to do with 10 gateways? No, no, that must have been a mistake. He must have cancelled a few. He must have overbuilt, surely. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gate, 2 base, Immortal Chargelet, Archon, Warp Prism all in. I don't... What? That can't work, surely. And Billowy's got a... wow, oh, these were hidden off to the side as well. Billowy thinks it's a standard kind of 6 or 7 gate build. 7 gate. He doesn't see the extra 3 gateways or the Templar archives. This is insanity. This is a build that makes no sense in any mere mortal's mind. Only Blisk understands this build. And look what he's done. He ferried the Immortals across. He didn't even break down the rocks. He built 3 Archons, a bunch of Chargelets and Phoenixes, and has gone into the main with them. And is going to attack. And now, this is why he goes 10 gates. Because his only intention here is to warp in massive rounds of Zealots. This build is insane, and it's actually going to work. I really think this is actually going to work. Billowy didn't see this coming in a million years. This is a ridiculous build. Can Billowy actually fight something like this? I'm not entirely convinced that he can. Huge amounts of warp gates available. Even if he can't warp in 10 Zealots at a time, it does mean he doesn't have to wait for cooldowns because he has spare gateways, so he can warp in more frequently. This is nonsense coming out of Blisk. But he is doing damage. And Billowy is going to have to somehow hold on to it. He's going to lose the mothership core. No, he's going to lose the warp prism, sorry. And now no warp pins are actually available. Can Billowy hold? I don't know if Billowy has the units to hold. The Immortal gets lifted up and picked up. There are still Archons. The Mothership Core is down. Billowy, though, looks like he might have what he needs. One Immortal goes down. The Archon's taking damage. Not too much economic damage having been done here by Blisk, and it looks like Billowy held it. Billowy holds the insanity. And Blisk... I am flabbergasted by that build. That build is insane. You know what? It's funny because he's just... Oh, Archon harass. Well, uh-oh, that's not going to work. And you know who the MVP of this match is? Uh-oh. Shame. He almost managed that. Almost did. Blink Stalkers after the Mothership. No, that's not a Mothership. Why do I keep saying that? It's a War Prism. What am I on about? Jeez. Sorry, my mind has been melted by the insanity of this build here. Billowy's all over it. That was a crazy build for this map. But you know who the MVP of this match is? The Observer that spotted every single last bit of it. This guy right here. This Billowy's Observer that kept on top of that. If that had gone unscouted and actually got into the main like that, that would have been potentially a massacre. That could have been better executed, though, by Blisk, if I'm going to be honest. He could have gone into the mineral line with his charging Zealots and eliminated the entire probe line very quickly. But honestly, Billowy was on 3 bases. Even if he'd lost his main for mining, I don't think that would have made much of a difference. And, well, now Blisk is playing from behind. He is trying to expand. He is behind in terms of his economy here. Billowy was able to defend. That's what the units lost looks like here. It's very, very even. Ridiculously even. But Blisk losing, like, the high-value units. I mean, it's weird to see this. 33 probes were killed. 33. And yet Billowy is still ahead in terms of his economy. That's how on top of this has been. And this third base, this early third base, is what saved him. If he'd gone for some kind of 2-base build, I actually think that it's very likely that Blisk would have been able to kill him. But he didn't. And now it looks like he's going to try and set up a flank here. I mean, he's got to be aware that this is happening. Yeah, he sees the rocks go down. So now he has Zealots here. This is potentially good. If he holds the top of the ramp with Archons and then charges him with Zealots from the flank, this could be devastating. However, if Billowy finds... Oh, he's going to find them! Oh, no. Oh, this is a disaster for Blisk. He's going to lose all of those Zealots very quickly. If he hadn't found them, that would have been an excellent move. But now I have a feeling that Blisk is just going to die. It was a brave build. It was a brave attempt, an insanity build, but I'm afraid Billowy's going to take him out now by the looks of it. Billowy just too good, too solid, too strong. And there's the GG. And the insane build is not enough. And MVP picks up that win and goes back to 3-1 on the scoreline. Well, I'm kind of glad we got to see that. Just to see how it can go horribly wrong. But I think, again, there were other scenarios where that could have worked. I genuinely believe that could have worked. If it was against someone that went for a slightly later third, if it was against someone that didn't scout the whole damn thing with their Observer and stay on top of it and was actually prepared, yeah, I maybe it could have worked. But that did not do the job. Wow. Okay. Alright, well, back to the 3-1 scoreline, which means we're back to the 2v2, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to set it up. Will the guys from Clan Who be able to bring it back now? They got another chance, and they failed. Now, they've got to take him on in a 2v2. Dongray Gu and Alive versus Betrayus and Igers. ZBT versus ZBT after the break. And the 2v2 is kicking off right now between Clan Who and MVP. Currently, MVP leads 3-1. We were able to regame the forfeited game from earlier, Blisk versus Billowy, and a crazy 2-base 10-gate all-in didn't work because Observers are pretty good. And now, Igers and Betrayus will attempt to take out Dongray and Alive, who is actually replacing Keen because Keen is ill. This was worked out in a deal between the two teams, where basically they agreed to allow for a substitution, which is technically... It's not against the rules. Like, you're not allowed to substitute unless the other team agrees. And in this case, they worked out a deal to allow the Blisk and Billowy game to be replayed, so the viewers could see it. And then they were able to substitute out Keen for Alive. So there we go. We still have a ZBT versus ZBT, so let's see what happens. Here we go. Alive apparently has his own clan. Look at this. That's very fancy. Alright, to the west position, playing for Team MVP, the Terran player Alive, and to the north, the Red Zerg player Dongwei-gu, versus their opponents. Both from Team Root, but representing the Australian conglomerate that is known as Clan Who. In the yellow trunks, playing Zerg, we have Patreus. And in the purple trunks, playing Terran, we have Igers. Alright, let's see what we can see. So, is either of these players going to go for the wall-off? Alive might. Alive has actually not started with anything. However, Patreus has gone out pretty early. Ooh, that's a weird place to put it. That's not going to get scouted. That's a very strange place to put your barracks. It looks like they may have... that... Huh. Well, I wonder if he's going to float it. I think he might float it over and then wall off, because this may be some weird counter meta build where he says, oh, well, the meta on this map right now is the barracks wall off in the center. So what Zerg players are doing early on is they're scouting early on to try and disrupt it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my barracks over here instead of putting it here, and then I'm going to float it over there. But that's not going to make any difference. Actually, it could. Maybe, if he goes on and builds a second barracks after that. Currently, no gas coming down right here for Alive. He's banking up a significant... There's the gas. What's he going to do? He's... He's going to go and bunker the center. Now, this is not something we've seen before. A proxy barracks into a center bunker on Sacred Path. That is a new one. That is very much a new one. In the meantime, Iger's going straight for the factory. We'll see if he decides to take a second gas. He may be considering Banshee. Reactor is coming out, though, so it looks like probably Speedling Hellion out of the Clan Who guys. Whereas Alive... I don't really know what Alive's doing. But it's an interesting one, because actually a couple of Marines does take down this rock tower very quickly. A bunker behind this is going to make this nigh on impossible to break. It is a really weird build, but it might do the job. Dongwei-gu, on the other hand, he's just droning, because he doesn't care. He'll get out some Lings of his own, and of course, Patreus will do the same thing. He's getting the Banelings out as well, so he's looking for that aggression here. This rock tower is going to collapse quite soon. Igers is proxying a starport right underneath Dongwei-gu's Overlord, which is a little unfortunate. That's a brilliant position there for Dongwei-gu's Overlord. I can't imagine why it would be there. Alive is proxy supply depoting to block the... What? Genius! That's absolute genius! He delayed the factory transition for so long doing that. That's insane, but genius. He puts a supply depot down, blocks the reactor so the factory can't create the Hellions. MVP, next level. MVP locates and destroys the starport with 4 Marines and a few Lings. And suddenly, Clan Who is in a terrible spot. I think anyone that thought that the foreigners were the kings of 2v2 has now been proven completely incorrect, as the MVP guys collapse the rocks. Turns out they're not only great at actual team leagues, they're great at team games. However, Patreus and Igers are not out of it yet. They're not out of it yet. They're going to try and make their way through here. And they're going to be able to do it eventually. We're going to actually have to see some Marines come out. Alive, able to pick off one of the Overlords. That's great, because scouting information on the other side here for the Clan Who guys is very limited. Trying to break their way through, and that's a supply block as well here for Patreus. That's not going to help. Alive is looking to try and pick these Lings off. He's gonna... Oh, let's see the micro. Patreus is gonna pull a few away here. A single Marine is maybe not quite enough here. Dongwei-gu's setting things up, and he's gonna... he's gonna break through the other side. Hellions brought out, however. Igus brings in the reinforcements, and they are both trying to break through. And Dongwei-gu realizes, I can't break through this in time. I'm gonna have to move and defend. The insanity of this map continues. Alive builds a Banshee, because why the hell not? He actually is expanding as well, bringing in Cloak into the mix. I still can't believe that happened. That severely limited Igers' Hellion count. But Alive doesn't actually have any units, so he might want to get some. He is building a Banshee, which is going to be great against things that can't shoot up. And Igers doesn't have many things that can shoot up. He's only got a single Marine here. He does bring out a Medevac as well. He's going to load it up with Hellions. It looks like he's going to try and drop Dongwei-gu's base. DRG's going to have to be ready for it. He's got a lot of Speedlings. He knows what's coming. DRG's actual map awareness is really, really good right now. The Cloak Banshee for Alive is making its way across the map. There's no turret here, and there's no Viking either. In comes the drop, immediately intercepted there. There's the quick pickup. The rocks are about to break, and the Clan Who team making their way to try and attack Dongregyu. DRG already has roaches. Alive is in the mineral line of Igers, who is only on one base and is losing his entire economy at this point to this single Banshee. In the meantime, here comes the assault on the front lines. The Lings come in. Focus fire on the Banelings. The Spine Crawler is about to fall. Will DRG be able to hold on? It looks like he's got the numbers. DRG heroically holds on against the attack of both sides. Destroys both Patreus and Igers' attack. And in the meantime, Alive ravages the mineral line. DRG says, don't worry, bro, I got this. Takes on 2-on-1. Tables both Patreus and Igers' attack forces, and Dongregyu heading now across the map with a force of roaches. That's it! MVP shows an incredible game here on the 2v2 match and clinches the series 4-1. DRG going man mode, holding off both of the attacks at the same time. Because why the hell not? And Alive with the backstab, the sneaky play. GG, well played. There was so much nonsense that went on in that one game. It's hard to describe. Hard to describe, good lord. Proxy barracks into bunker on the center of the map, into finding a proxy starport and killing it with the 4 Marines that came out of that bunker, and then retreating behind the rocks, then collapsing the rocks to prevent pursuit, into sneaky SCV, supply depot blocks the reactor, preventing the Hellion surge from Igers. My mind is melted out of my ears. MVP really brought it today. Wow. They obviously prepared for the 2v2 and everything else for that matter. Incredible play from MVP, and Clan Who just wasn't up to it, unfortunately. Pig being the lone survivor of this massacre. As MVP completely flattens him. That was so cool. Man, what a great 2v2. What a fantastic, crazy, unbelievably ridiculous 2v2 that we just had. And a closeout there for MVP. Alright, folks. Well, I'm happy to say that we do actually have more Clan Wars coming your way. The entire weekend is full of Clan Wars. It's brilliant. So let me tell you what's coming up. Well, if you unfortunately wanted to see the guys from Clan Who win, well, this time around you didn't get it. But you might get it tomorrow because they get another match. They're going to be playing against IVD Gaming. Same time, 7 p.m. EDT on Saturday. It's going to be Pez versus Apocalypse, followed by Igers versus Gamja, Blisk versus Puck, Patreus and Igers taking on Apocalypse and Zerg Zing Zing, NXZ versus Arium, and Patreus versus Fog. Much more evenly matched set, I think, there. After that, the day after that, we have Startail taking on Complexity. Pet versus Mooskills, Pet and Hack versus Coma and Hendrilisk, Legend versus Death End, Curious versus QXE, on Wrecking Ball, folks. Yes, he's doing it. QXE has expressed his desire to play on Wrecking Ball. He is going to do it. We have no idea what build he's going to come up with. Panic versus Hendrilisk, Hack versus Coma, and then, of course, the ace will be played on New Polaris Rhapsody. And another one to wrap out the month. We promised you Startail versus MVP early in the month. We were unable to deliver because of unfortunate RL issues, but we're going to do it again. Startail versus MVP, 9 p.m. EDT on the 28th of April. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. You've been watching SHOUTCraft Clan Wars. A little bit disorganized this time around. My apologies for that. Hopefully things will run smoothly next time. Thank you to MLG for sponsoring this event, providing $5,000 a month for us to give away to these teams for their excellent play and keeping this series going. This tournament would quite literally not exist without them, so thank you very much. And thank you to those of you who have elected to support this tournament today. You can catch the VODs over at youtube.com/TotalBiscuit. A rerun of this show will begin immediately after we wrap this up. Thank you very much once again for watching, and I will see you next time.